Hi everyone, my name is Karen Robinson. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and this is my first ever video, so I am not expecting it to be really great, but you just got to start somewhere, and now is the time to start. So I am commencing my 12 weeks of Halloween series that I have been doing for I think this will be at least the third year, maybe even a bit longer. And I have had a few requests in the past to try and do some videos. I know I am a visual learner myself, so I'm going to have a go. And if this doesn't work out, then I guess no one will see it, so it won't matter. So this is the first project that I have this year. It is a very, very simple box. It's a nice generous size though, actually, so you could fit lots and lots and lots in there. This just slides off. The lid is just made from DSP, and the base is cardstock. A nice simple box. Easy, actually nice easy one to start with. So let's have a go at making this. So I can just see this is going to be dreadful. Okay, so what I am using for this project is a suite from their new August-December 2020 mini catalogue. They've renamed them now. It's not the holiday catalogue anymore. It's got this absolutely huge name. And I'm using the Plaid Tidings suite, which is awesome. I love these checks and plaids, depending on when you live. I think they're absolutely awesome, and I love that they are in so many different colors. So we've got Christmas ones and kind of Halloweeny ones and autumnal ones for those in the Northern Hemisphere, and there's kind of pinky ones, and which would be great for Valentine's Day, and just great for men's cards. Lovely pack of paper. So that was one of my, I love this pack of paper. And then we've got this gorgeous stamp set that covers a lot of different occasions, plus these fun dies that kind of get cut out celebration labels dies. And as you can see here in this example, they have used it as a bag topper, and I think that's really great. But you can also use it, it's not scored anywhere, you can also just use it as I have, just as a label to die cut sentiments however you want. So let's get into it. So this is the original box that I made. I'm going to make it again. I'm going to try to make it again. I'm using another piece of paper from the Plaid Tidings, sorry if there's noise, the Plaid Tidings DSP paper pack. Like I said, absolutely gorgeous papers in here, really lovely. If you like checks and plaids, this is a paper pack you want to grab. So we're going to do it in a different colorway. So they're all double-sided, so we've got kind of more of a Christmassy feel on that side. To me, this is more Halloweeny or autumnal, and I'm going to do basic black as the base. Both of these pieces, the DSP is a 6" by 6" pack, and I've cut my basic black to the same size, but my black needs to be a little bit smaller so it will fit easily inside the lid. If it's the same size, it's not going to fit. So even though it's already cut at 6" by 6", I'm going to just trim a little bit off. So I don't know, I've been mucking around with this. So anyway, I'm going to get my trimmer, and I think we'll trim, this might be way too much, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll trim 1/8 of an inch off. Oh, that seems a bit too much, doesn't it? Let's do it. So I'll trim 1/8 of an inch off two adjacent sides. So I'm trimming it off this side, then I just need to turn it 90 degrees and trim another 1/8 of an inch off. So that's a bit shorter, that's a bit shorter, the whole thing's a bit shorter. So now it's 5 7/8 of an inch square. I don't know why I tend to work in Imperial for most of my things, even though I'm in Australia and my card bases and everything are in metric, but I just tend to work in Imperial, so that's just how it is. So you can score on your trimmer, which is really great, but I'm going to get out my Simply Scored. I'm just having a quick look to make sure that's still on the shot. And we're going to score both the base and the top of the box at 1 1/4 on all 4 sides. So I know some people prefer to use, the Simply Scored comes with this scoring tool, and it has 2 ends. It has a thinner kind of ballpoint and a thicker one. And a lot of people like to use the thicker one for paper because it doesn't go as deep into the grooves and it's less likely to tear the paper. I prefer to use the thinner one. I know I need to use a bit of a lighter hand on paper, on DSP, as opposed to cardstock, because I like to get a thinner line. So I feel that it's more accurate. That's just me though, but you'll see a lot of people will actually use the thicker end. So we're going to fold and burnish everything. Actually, this will be really funny because I don't know if I'm going to be able to see the score lines once I cut. Got a pair of scissors. So this is a Teflon bone folder. I do have a Stampin' Up bone folder, but I tend to use this as I have a really heavy hand. So it's fine if you not a monster like me. Alright, so basically what we're going to do is just cut up the corners along the score line and just wedge in a little bit so we get a nice fit when we put our lid together. And this is just really basic box making, perfect for a beginner. The main thing I concentrate on is obviously not cutting too far, but you do want to try and actually cut off the ridge. So I'm cutting just inside that score line to get a nice straight edge that's not going to be bumpy. Alright, we're going to do the same thing for the base. You don't have to fold and burnish them first, it doesn't really matter. So this is probably even easier to see. Well, it's easy for me to see anyway. Just take a little wedge, just to help the edges come together more neatly. I'm using the paper snips, and probably cut a little bit too much in there. Oh well, I won't stress about it. Yeah, I'm using paper snips. Love paper snips. They are really good scissors. I really like them. I only have 1 pair and I need to get more. I don't use it for anything evil, so they're still pretty good, but they're really great. And another thing I love about them, so not only are they sharp, but they come with a sheath, which I think is great. So if you're going somewhere, you know, you don't have to worry about stabbing yourself trying to find supplies in your bag, whatever you're taking stuff in. So I'm going to fold and burnish. So this is really important to do. Gives you nice crisp edges and helps everything line up nicely. So let's see how this all comes together. So normally I would use tear and tape for this. I don't know why, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use Tombow, which is really strong and I love it, and that is just for quickness in the video. there's nothing wrong with it. And there are certain things, if you've got like really little fiddly things, then you want to, we had some coffins in last year's catalogue. They had little tiny tabs, and yes, definitely use Tombow on those. So I'm just having a quick look in here. I just want to hold it for a little while, just a few seconds till it grabs. If you're making a bunch of these, I have in my little craft thing over here a stack of little pegs, which are also really good, which we can hold it in place, but that'll do. And I'm just going to do the same thing for the top. Pop that together, hold it. Hopefully I'm still in shot. Simple box. Now I do have, even though I've trimmed, I do have like some, I don't know, edges. If that bothers you, you can trim them off. It's not bothering me. I'm already getting sticky. One of the other problems with Tombow is I always manage to get it on myself and get myself sticky. So I have no idea what the volume of this is going to be like. So there is our lid, there is our base. I would probably put a bit more glue on than I had. It's going to fit together very nicely. If anything, it's a little bit loose, but rather that than too tight. If you would like to make it easy, because these are the same depth, because I've scored them the same depth, you could use a hole punch, take some dust off it, to make a couple of notches in the sides. I'm not going to worry about it because the lid is quite loose and coming off quite loose. All right, so now we're going to make the little sentiment and the wrap that's going to keep this on and stop it from falling off. So on my other box, I used pumpkin pie, and on this one I'm going to use rich raspberry, which is one of the colors in this particular plaid. So we'll see what it looks like. I don't know, I haven't done this, so we'll figure it out. I'm just going to use Memento black ink. Oops, it's upside down. I tend to store this upside down, the same as our normal ink pads, and I'm just used to it. So this is the stamp set that I'm using. I'm using the Celebration Tiding stamp set. Yeah, so I showed you that in the catalogue, and yes, I'm going to be using this nice big spiderweb and the Happy Haunting. So I'm going to die cut it afterwards, so I don't have to worry about getting it perfectly straight or anything, because I'm just going to do that. So first of all, I'm going to ink up the Happy Haunting. So we'll see how this goes. I'm just going to kind of center this roughly. Give it a good press. I found this one stamped, oh, that's lovely actually, really well with without anything underneath it. If you do find with your photopolymer stamps you're maybe not getting a good impression, they might need a foam mat underneath it, which I don't happen to have. Or you could also use the mat that comes with your Stamparatus. Sometimes they just like need a little bit more give, but that's stamped beautifully. So same as the last one, so I stamped it, I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way, but I stamped it because I want to really see this spider web. So let's ink this up. I'm not sure. So I'm looking through to see how well my coverage is. I don't think it's totally great, but we'll go with it. I'm just going to try and center it and kind of get it as close as I can to here. We're not going for perfection, I'm just going for getting it stamped reasonably straight. And then I'm going to do this at the top. I'm trying, I have no idea if my head is in, I actually can't see anything. I'm going to see until afterwards and just give it a good press. You give it, sometimes you can just stamp it down, lift it up straight away, but usually you need to leave it for a little while. Put the lid back on that, because sure as anything I will stick my hand in it. So I'm using the coordinating dies. These are the Celebration Labels dies that are part of this suite to cut this out. And I'm going to be using the smallest label, which was the perfect size for this box, I thought anyway. And so yes, I'm going to be cutting off quite a bit, but that doesn't bother me. And I'm adding some decoration, embellishment I should say. I'm going to be adding these little sprigs, which also come with this set as well, which I've already die cut out of black glitter paper, so you don't have to see me try and struggle with that. Actually, it die cut very well, so, but that's just already done. And then there are some other things. There's some little hearts. These are spiders, which are in the stamp set, and just little, corner flourish things to dress it up. Okay, so I'm going to try to center this, and we'll have it how I like it. I am going to use a little bit of just painting tape. I just grabbed this from Bunnings. So if you're in Australia, you'll probably know about Bunnings. Anywhere you can get this. The main thing, I have a roll. I've been using it for ages. When you tear it off, just like rub it on the inside of your arm a couple of times to take off some of the stick, because it is very sticky, and that way you don't tear your cardstock or your paper when you take it off. So I'm just going to put this wherever I want to hold it in place a bit. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and trim off the excess. Now I am using, I have a little sidekick, which is just over here to the side, so I'm just going to use that because this is a nice small one. Now Stampin' Up are bringing out very soon their own die cutting machine, like a big die cutting machine like the big shop, and they're also bringing out like a smaller one, which is great, like to have on your table as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I probably won't be getting the big one because I already have a big one, and I just don't need one. But the smaller one's tempting because it is a bit bigger than the sidekick. So I believe it's a little bit wider, so it can take dies that are a little bit wider. And I find I use that all the time. I cut a lot of small dies, so that's really good. So that cut out all right. Now I'm going to cut another piece because, just plain, I am going to back my label because I'm going to have all these bits on the back that are going to look ugly. So I'm going to back it so it's not so ugly. Okay, move all that out of the way. Okay, I have no idea if there's going to be too much quiet. I don't know, because I've never done this before. Now I like the idea of having my sentiment, my label kind of threaded onto my ribbon, I should say, threaded onto my label. I'm thinking there's something wrong with that sentence. And I have the trio punch, which makes this lovely little, actually this is the main thing I use it for. This one and this one, I don't think I've ever used this one, but that's really fun. A little bit painful to, not painful, but yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I found the easiest way for me to do this, which is also really easy with this die, is I'm just going to make a little mark at the center point with a pencil. I don't know if you can see that. And then when I turn over my punch, I can actually find that mark and hold it in place, theoretically, with this line that kind of goes down the center of that hole there. Man, I need some more light. And I'm going to try to hold it in place. Normally I would punch it this way, but you can't do that with this particular punch. And then I'm going to punch it that is totally off, but you know what, we're just going to go with it. Let's try it again. Obviously moved it out afterwards. I promise it worked well the first time. Okay, that one's good. But we're just going to keep going with it because we make mistakes, and that's okay. So what I did was, I've got this ribbon, it's just embroidered ribbon. I'm not sure what color it is, it's just a neutral, so it's great. It's part of the suite. So you'll get the stamp set, the dies, this paper pack, plus this ribbon. I think that's everything in the suite. But it's a lovely neutral one, and it'll just go with so many things. Bring it around here. I'm going to thread it through. My die, scissors. Just to give you a bit of an estimate of where I want to put it. Then I'm going to grab my tear and tape. Oh, here we go. I didn't put away properly. I'm going to put this down the middle. So we'll just pretend that that's perfectly beautifully straight, which it is not. So I'm just going to pop my ribbon through here. Stick it onto my tear and tape, put it around my box. Once again, I'm hoping I'm in the shot. Let me just move stuff out of the way. Put the other end through. I've cut off way too much. You could probably actually, and you should probably do this on the roll so you don't waste the ribbon that I'm about to waste. Shameful. I'll have to put that aside and use it for something else. So kind of tighten it to how you want it to be, how tight you want it to be, whether you want it like super tight so you're never going to get it back on again when you take it off, or whether you want it loose enough to slide on and off reasonably easily. And then when you've got it wherever you want, stick the other side down, and then just trim off the excess. Oops, we're going to have to save that for something. Make a little thing. And then this is all ready to go onto your box and keep the lid from flying off. So a little bit of decoration to finish off. I've got my little sprigs. Now I think I used tape, and yeah, I think I'm just going to use glue dots because I decided to cover the back after I had done all that. And so I think I'm just going to put some glue dots on here. Oh, on me. Anyway, you know what? How about we just do it straight from the thing? Okay, I don't know if I'm in the shot. I'm hoping I'm in the shot, in the camera. Let's see how that goes. And then we're just going to, I do like how they go two different directions. I think that's really cool. Kind of pop them on, so however you like them, however you think they look best. You can always come back and, you know, add more glue dots. And then down the bottom, I liked this one coming over here. Oh. Maybe if you put it in the glue dot might actually help. It's optional, isn't it? I do need another one. Am I the only one? Like, see, I have a random glue dot who misses glue dots. Like, what is that doing there? That's quite bizarre. Come off. You need to go and stick stuff onto stuff. That's your destiny. It's kind kind of weird talking to myself and recording it. Not so much the talking to myself, but definitely the recording of the talking. That's not even in glue dot. Now it is. Beautiful. Now, to tidy up all this, that may not bother you, nothing wrong with that. I'm going to pop another piece on. Now last time I did a woeful job of lining this up and I actually had to trim it. So we'll see if I can do a better job. Yeah, you can use, I think I did use tear and tape last time. This time I'll use Tombow. So with Tombow, I'm probably putting on way too much. But don't get it too close to the edge because you don't want it to ooze out, and especially anything that has stitched border like this has, you don't want that to ooze out because it makes it sticky. So let's see if I can do a better job of lining this up. And that's where Tombow is great because you have a little bit of room for adjustment. Oh, looks good. Upside down, but good. That's always good. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to do is, I wanted a little bit more sparkle than I have. So I'm going to add some of these, what are they called? Monster Bash enamel shapes. These are from last year's catalogue, but in Australia, they are currently on our clearance rack. So they were $12.25 Australian, and now they're $4 something. So, which is great. So always check the clearance rack because quite often I do check them, especially for embellishments that heavily reduced, and yeah, it's still Halloweeny, you know, it doesn't matter. The person I'm going to give it to isn't going to care. So I'm just going to add a few of these little dots, and also I'm definitely in a bit of a use it up state of mind lately. I'm tired of having product and not using it, and yeah, it's just wrong. So I'm using the old, I don't even know what this piercing tool, can't remember what it's called. This is retired, but the take your pick tool has this kind of option in it, which is really great for picking up little things like this so you don't get yourself super sticky everywhere. Let's move those out of the way. All right, now the moment of truth. Let's see if I can actually get this onto the box. A little bit, there we go. I do want it pretty snug. Slide it up, move it across. We'll just totally ignore that that is a little bit crooked. It could be a little bit looser, my ribbon, but that's all right. Totally ignore that that's a bit crooked. I don't think the recipient will mind. It's full of yummies. Ooh, what's in here? Yum. Put something evil in there. Let me bring back my other one. That's really cool. Actually, I really like that. I think the black sparkles turn out better on this one than they did on the other one. I'll show up more my other one on. Okay. There we go. There's my two boxes. Move my mess. Really, really quick, simple boxes. They will hold stacks of things in here. Lots of little things, lots of little packets of things. I mean, I don't know, maybe someone's having a Halloween baby. They would hold like a little pair of cute pumpkin baby socks or something in there. So quite easily as well. Yeah, well, that is my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's turned out all right. If it hasn't, no one will be seeing it. But so if you are seeing it, then obviously it's not as horrible as I thought it might have been. Okay, well, I will try to keep going with these, and hopefully I will see you next week with another project. Bye.